do the play-by-play just wonderfully on NBC Sports Philadelphia. The great Tom McCarthy joins us. Tom, good morning. Thanks for coming on a little bit earlier today as you're 2 hours behind us.
Yeah, thanks, guys. It's nice afternoon or nice morning here in Denver, so it's cool.
Well, that's beautiful.
The mornings are running into the afternoons.
Yeah, everything.
It's afternoon, it's evening, it's early.
Tom, so I was curious. I want to hear from you. Obviously, the story itself is Mick Abel, but I want to ask you how special it is to call the debut outing for a starting pitcher, a former first-round pick that I think a lot of people wrote off at one point, and then you saw him yesterday, and then he ends up out-dueling Paul Skeens. What was that like calling a debut like that for Mick Abel?
It's what makes baseball so great, honestly, guys, and the ability to do games every single day. Because, we always talk about this, and sometimes it's lip service, but you never know what you're going to get when you get to the ballpark. So I was anticipating the normal jitters that a player making their major league debut has, particularly on the mound. I haven't been able to. I think Ben Lively was the last guy who pitched really well in his major league debut, although I guess Jared Eichhoff did also. But, you never know what to expect because the nerves and everything and the fact that he was matching up against Paul, who is just an unbelievable talent. But I was excited about it just because of all the scouting reports that we had heard about him, saying how much he had changed, how much he was starting to sort of reach the depths of what people anticipated. So I was excited about that.
The idea is, though, Tom, is that following that up now, he's got to go out there and then follow that up and follow that up. When you've seen guys come out of the gate strong, and you've probably seen some guys come out of the gate struggling, what has usually been the trajectory? And how do guys find a way to stabilize to figure out what they really are going to have as their path?
I think the biggest thing for him, and the comments that some of the Pirates players were saying, was about the depth of his curveball. I'm hopeful, John, that he is the guy that they drafted with the 15th pick overall, because I know that when he was coming through the system, the anticipation was that he was a top-of-the-line piece to a rotation. Now, obviously, he did not look that way in his previous years, but we all know that people sort of mature from a athletic standpoint on different levels. He's only 23. So, maybe we have to be a little more patient with some guys. And my expectation is that he may be able to funnel some of this same success the next time he comes up, whenever that is, and I don't think it's going to be too long from now. I think he just keeps building on this down, and because whatever he did in this offseason to refocus, to kind of level himself a little bit, it definitely helped.
So what could be a future for a guy like Mick Abel? And I mean immediate future, because you're going to get Andrew Painter up at some point. Ranger Suarez is now back and pitching very well. We know that Aaron Nola is on the IL, and that's why Mick Abel even gets the opportunity. But if he continues to pitch well and makes hard decisions for the Phillies, what do they end up doing? Because we'll get to it. You need bullpen help now as well.
Well, that's obvious. I mean, that's obviously what they do need moving forward. I don't know. I think they have a little latitude where they can allow him to continue to develop in AAA and make sure that what we're seeing this first 2 months of the season is actually what the team will get moving forward. But I think you have to be realistic to understand that they could trade somebody to get the bullpen help. I mean, that's probably the easiest path for what could happen down the road, because they have a plethora of starting pitchers right now. My only concern and my only caution is that last year they had a plethora of starting pitchers and then didn't have a plethora of starting pitchers. So I think you just got to be a little leery about that. But I think that realistically, you have to think about the possibility that one of these guys, or maybe two of these guys, are traded at some point.
Tom, when you see what Kyle Schwarber is doing this year, and it is his walk year, not saying that he's going to leave the franchise, but it is a contract year. How imperative is it for the Phillies maybe to try to engage in talks about getting something done now?
I think they have already, John, and I think the reports have been out there about that. I don't know what the specifics have been, but I think he does owe it to himself to kind of keep an open mind, because this will probably be his last sort of large contract, whatever it is. And, to me, he's a difference maker for anybody, including the Philadelphia Phillies. He's changed the scope of the clubhouse. He's changed the work ethic in some ways of the clubhouse. I do think they've engaged, and I think they will continue to engage. But the one thing I have learned about Dave Dombrowski is that you very rarely know what he is doing because he doesn't allow a lot of people in. It's sort of an old school feel that, hey man, we're not going to have any of these whispers getting out. We're just going to do this privately. But I do think they've engaged, and I think they will continue to engage as the season moves on.
Voice of the Phillies, Tom McCarthy, joins us on the Comcast Business Hotline. Tom, obviously the big news before the game yesterday was that Jose Alvarado suspended for PEDs, 80 games, and of course now ineligible for the playoffs. Let's talk about the blow that this team gets with Alvarado being suspended from an on-the-field standpoint, but even just with the teammates and the clubhouse, I imagine there are certain players that feel a certain type of way right now.
There's no doubt. When you... I know we've talked about this over and over again over the years, but when you have decided to take some kind of a performance-enhancing drug, whatever it is, whether it's for dietary reasons, whether it's for physical improvement, there is a list and there is a hotline that you can call. There are outlets. So that's the concerning part of it, is that it's not like Major League Baseball has left these guys out on an island and has not allowed them the opportunity to find out whether they take whatever dietary supplement they take, whether it's legal or not legal. So it's irresponsible in some ways for a player when it comes to something like this. And listen, you guys have known me for a long time. I battle my weight every single year. It depends on what season it is, depending on what size pants I wear. But I do think that these guys have opportunities to figure out what they can and cannot take. And I think that's where the concern is and the disappointment is. And now, even beyond the regular season, this is as potent a left-handed weapon as Major League Baseball has that will not be available for any potential postseason. And that's really hard to swallow, to be honest with you. And I think it's mixed emotions in the clubhouse. I think you saw Matt Strom. I think that's the way some of the players feel. They want to hear from him before they make any kind of judgment or pass any judgment. But I think internally, it's bugging them.
All right, Tom, we're trying to figure out, because there was those sounds in the background. Are you on the set of an HGTV show where they're renovating a house?
Really good question.
Are you cleaning?
Yeah, good
Are they
question.
cleaning spikes? Cleaning the spikes, or is somebody mining for gold in the background?
Okay, it could actually be all of the above, because I am in Denver.
Right.
But if you've ever been to Denver, they have this area called the 16th Street Mall.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I've been there.
It's like Lodo, right?
Yes. Yeah, for the last 3 years, they've been refurbishing it.
Oh.
Well, and Denver for me is one of my favorite breakfast places.
Ooh.
So I kind of wander around before I decide where I'm going to go.
Where are we going? Where are we going today?
Haven't decided yet. I might go to Sam's. Sam's is a greasy spoon diner that I really like. But I also might go to this place called Syrup, which is not
good.
greasy spoon, but it's really good.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Anyway, so they must have cemented the middle portion of the 16th Street Mall last week, and today is pulling off the wood and all metal. And I've just sort of lodged myself on a chair outside of where they're doing it.
Well, there you go.
That's good. Listen, we appreciate the time, Tom. Enjoy yourself out in Denver. 4 games against a baseball team.
Yeah, come on.
I'll just leave it at that.
Hey, they have won some games the last week. They did make a manager change.
Yeah, they've got 8.
Yeah, they got 8. They're on fire right now.
I bet. You know what I want you to do? I want